And the question is the current state of rock and roll in Australia. What's your thoughts there?
There are some things, I've mentioned this to you on our 2 previous interviews. I'd like to mention a couple of bands that I really like. I like a girl band called the Surefire Midnights, and I really like a band from Melbourne called King of the North, who are a 2-piece rock band, and they are seriously good. So there's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
You won't hear it on the radio. You won't hear it on commercial radio. Commercial radio is more and more tied with...
Well, in general, you won't hear any new rock on commercial radio.
You won't hear it on commercial radio, because commercial radio is about selling advertising space, and it's about being aligned.
On Triple M.
Well, that's being aligned. Yeah, okay, and that sells advertising space.
I like the Beards.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you know the Beards?
Yeah, if your dad hasn't got a beard.
I haven't heard them yet.
You got 2 mums. If your dad hasn't got a beard, you got 2 mums.
That's funny.
Yeah, you'll love the Beards.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good stuff out there,
Well,
but it's on community radio.
Yeah, okay.
A lot of good stuff out there. I have high hopes for Australian rock.
Yeah.
I think Australia is blessed with a huge amount of talent, given compared to other countries in the world.
Yeah.
From our population of 22, 23 million, compared with, say, the States, where it's more like 300 million.
Yeah.
We are producing top quality bands. What concerns me is that we've all come through an era where there were a lot of live venues, and we all had the opportunity. Jim comes from the States, but he was also working a lot of venues for a long time.
Yeah.
And technology has changed, and it's changed people's habits. Also, poker machines coming in have closed a lot of venues. So my concern is just that up-and-coming bands aren't going to get the exposure or the experience that they need. And
it seems like nowadays a band can never ever have to play a gig. You put your video on YouTube and you put your song on iTunes, whereas we did it the exact opposite end, from the apprentice standpoint of, I've been playing in bands since I was 11 years old, and you play all those gigs. It might be 10 years before you get near a video camera or a recording machine or something like that. It's all about just playing, and I feel really fortunate,
we were just lucky because we were in the pre-Xbox, pre-videos, pre-DVDs, all of the other things which occupy people's mind. Music was popular culture when we started out, and that was all. What band did you like? What album did you like? What band have you seen lately? There were 3 or 4 bands playing every night at every pub. Every night
like
at every pub.
Maybe except Monday. Except Monday.
I don't know. We used to play at schools on Mondays.
To me, that amount of playing and people coming out all the time, I think the music united us all at a tribal level, is how I feel about it.
Yeah.
And so, sometimes I recall being on stage and just really enjoying looking out at the rest of my tribe, and everyone's kind of, rocking out, or, I don't know, probably taking some tribal enhancers. But, that was, it was a real kind of coming together of people, and like Buzz mentioned with Xboxes and other things, people's social habits have changed, and they don't go out as much, and so it's a bit of a chicken and egg thing as well. If there were more bands playing, people might want to come out more often.
Sure.
And but for various reasons, bands aren't playing live so much, and people have got other distractions that that they go to instead now.
It's all very insular, and also nowadays a tour is usually 6 weeks of Friday and Saturday nights, whereas when we were touring here, 6 nights a week.
Yes, it was
2-3 months on the trot. You'd rock into some tiny little town on a Tuesday night, and 1,500 people would rock up to see the
The
band.
punters were committed.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean-
they didn't have anything else to do as
Well,
well. So
I
yeah,
feel
kind of
sorry
keep
for
that.
some of the towns because that timing was built up by the promoters when they went, this is our Tuesday night gig because it's on the way to here,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
that's our, and then we'll, so it was all, some of these towns never had music other than on a Tuesday night probably because that's when the
Sure.
promoters decided to run the bands through
Yeah, part of the
because they could go to bigger venues on the weekends and,
Yeah.
make more money.
Oh, thanks for that.